Change the formation, people. You know, I realize I'm harping on this, but that is my biggest single tool outside of music, is to change the formation. Someone asked, do you take things in the previous set and use them in the following set, follow along? If I use stars in one set, I try and use them very close in the next 2 or 3 sets, so that I have an opportunity to reinforce what they learned. We learn by repetitions. That, I'm talking to the choir here. We learn by repetition, yes. I very strongly try and plan my evening, so if I'm using stars one place, I'll use them immediately, but in a different formation. Anytime you change something in a dance, it becomes a new dance. Doesn't come so in your head, because see, you're probably sick and tired of some of this stuff and can't hardly stand it. But anytime you change in a dance to a beginner out there in the forest, a new dance, they don't mind repetition. I don't think mainstream square dancers mind repetition, but I'm kind of a lone voice in the wilderness. Sometimes I feel on that. They don't mind repetition. You look at any other team dance form, and do we have the surprise effect that we have in square dancing? No. So this tells me that people don't mind repetition. You go to a country western dance and stay 3 or 4 hours during the evening, you'll see the same line dance routine 4 and 5 times. To different kinds of music. It's the music. It's the music that makes the difference. And this is basically why it's absolutely no problem to get along with 5 or 6 or 7 basics. It's because I changed the formation. I changed the music. I do repetition. Once I get into a routine, a lot of times I may say side call a routine, but once I've got a routine down, I repeat it for the heads and for the sides. I'm not having to remember at the end of the night. Everything can go out. They stand there and they come out the door and they pull up the top of their head and they empty the wastebasket. And then they go out the door and all the memory's gone. And they come back 6 months later. It's amazing. A couple pieces will catch you. You're like kiwi ring I showed you yesterday. But basically, the rest of it's gone. It's in the wastebasket.
Cal, some of it settles.
Some of it settles. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting up on time. Lord knows I better stay on time. When I do square dance, which is usually maybe once or twice a night, I try and make sure that the material fits people or pairs of the same gender. In other words, they can do it too, which means I don't do a lot of swings. I don't do right and left throughs. I don't do chains, even as wildcats. Because I need to make sure, because so many of the parties have, let's say, one couple or one pair of the same gender in every set. I mean, it's that high. I get nights when 75% ladies normally, rather than being the other way with the men. Line dances. I've been talking to the DJs, and the DJs still use hokey pokey, bunny hop, YMCA, birdie dance as part of their repertoire they have. They use them at weddings, they use them at almost all of their parties, but those 4 records are consistently in the package, so don't feel that they're hokey and people no longer want to do them. Because if the DJs are using them successfully every night, they're still good, useful dances. I occasionally, which some people are going to go like this, I occasionally use international folk dances.
No. So do I.
There's one called the Blacksmith's Apprentice whatever it happened.
Whatever happened to Limbo Rock? That's what I end most of my dances with
Yeah.
kids.
Limbo Rock I don't use because I can't get down that far.
Kids do though.
Yeah.
Kids love it. They'll sweep
a lot of the parties, particularly the conferences that I do, have an international attendance. I did one last summer up at Breckenridge in which we had people from 22 different countries. Okay? If you put on an ethnic piece of music like a hora or like a polka or a schottisch or something like this, you will have a spontaneous generation of people who come on the floor and dance that particular dance to their ethnic origin. Then you yank the music off real quickly and get them in a circle before they have a chance to leave the floor. Yeah. You pop the music off real quickly and put them quickly into a circle because they've had guts enough to get up on that because that's their part. My observation is obviously people in foreign countries dance a heck of a lot more than Americans do.
Oh, yes.
Because when I do a conference that has got people from an international flavor, I have absolutely trouble getting the crowd on the floor. Where I have troubles at the conferences is when they're, well, you were telling a story about judges. You know, the people there are sitting there in their ties and are afraid to take the ties off. Okay?
Cal?
Yeah.
When I was living and calling in Holland, I was invited as a guest caller to a club that was celebrating their second anniversary or something. And somebody asked me to put on music for the break, and I pulled out an Israeli dance, tossed it on, and then got down on the floor and started to dance it. And people were already in the dinner line with plates half full, and they put them down on the edge of the table, ran out and got in line. Everybody in the Western square dancing in Holland had come from international folk dancing, and my reputation went way up because they suddenly discovered that I wasn't just a square dance caller.
Sure, makes sense. A couple short notes, then I'm done. Long parties. Occasionally I'm asked to do parties 3 or 4 hours in length. I do not try and program 3 or 4 hours. I bring along country, western, polkas, schottisches, waltzes, a variety of things. You know, there's about close to 300 tunes in that box right there. And I put those things on. Occasionally I bring along what I call mixer cassettes of country western music. We've got all kinds of artists on them, and pop one of those things in and let it play through. People need time to collect and sit down and talk. If you do it at reasonable periods in the evening, they'll stick around. If you try and program the whole evening, you'll find after about an hour and a half to 2 hours are gone. And so I don't try and do it. I look at demographics at parties, observe the age categories. If I've got people of your age, I'll pull out cards.
Don't go there.
You know, put on a traditional square dance, put on a Varsoviana. If I've got the kids there, I pull out things like popcorn, Pink Cadillac, car wash, electric boogie. I usually program the first hour before I take my first break. And then, well, I take short breaks, but they're little bitty short breaks. I don't keep people on the floor for an hour. But before one of these 15 segments, we'll go an hour of dancing, and then I'll take a 15-minute break and put on just country western, and then we'll go back and say do another half hour. Yeah, of stuff that's programmed, and then, you know, put on a little shorter break and so on down. Towards the end of the evening, quite frankly, have very little program right at the tail end part of that evening. And a lot of that is sit there and watch the people. My object is keep them from going to bed. Because these are typically in hotels or at lodges or at places where a captive audience. And if I can keep them from going to bed, and you're going to lose 75% of them no matter what you do in a 4-hour party. You're going to end up with 25% that are going to be the diehards just sitting there. Those are a lot of the nights when I really pull out the ethnic stuff at the end. They want to do a horror. They want to do an Israeli dance. They want to do something that's part of their country, not part of mine. Okay? Last thing, I close most parties with something called hand jive. I want to hear it, but it just, you know, clap, 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 palm, palm, fist, fist. Then you swim twice, and you lasso, and you do things like that. I have people at parties that will sit the entire evening and stare at the floor who will get up and do hand jive.
It's safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or do it in their seat.
Or doing it in their seat.
Yeah, it's
You know, it gives them a way to have participated. It gives me a way to say thank you for the invitation to come and be part of your party. You know?
It's amazing. I use hand jive as the icebreaker at a team dance.
Okay. Right.
And I play it one time through, and I say to them, man, y'all are great. I've never seen anything like it. And then I hit the 2 button, and I have that sucker set at about 75 RPM. And it speeds up, and you can't help but have to walk when you're doing it to keep the beat. But you're going at 90 to nothing, and those kids are just, now we've got them.
The thing is, send them home loving to dance.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim and Spray.